Hi everyone, welcome to the Stay Hungry podcast. I've got a special guest today and he's going to be throwing some marketing stuff at me, so let's get into it. Poddy, welcome to the Stay Hungry podcast.
Thank you very much. Very excited.
So for the listeners' benefit, you're our new apprentice.
I am indeed.
3 weeks in.
Yeah, 3 weeks. Been very a lot going on in the last few weeks.
How's it been?
Very good, yeah.
Nice.
Beating my expectations.
That's good.
Yeah.
Unless they were low.
No, they wasn't.
Okay, so tell us a bit about you. What are you doing here?
So I'm obviously, as you said, the digital marketing apprentice for Codebreak. But I'm here to expand my knowledge and more in the start of my marketing career.
Nice. All right then. Well, let's see how we get on in this podcast then.
Yeah.
Hit me with the first question.
Oh, first one.
I'm ready.
It's a pretty big one. So, what's one thing that you wish that you had known when you began your career in marketing?
Oh, God, that is a good question. I wish I'd have backed myself more.
Okay.
So, speculate to accumulate is very, very true. And there's a tremendous amount of businesses out there that want their marketing to work for them, but what they're asking of it is ridiculous. So, give you an easy example. A car dealership is trying to sell a car for 20 grand. If their monthly marketing budget with their agency is £1,000, but their sales goals are to sell 100 cars at 20 grand each. So, what's the maths there? A lot.
Yeah.
£2 million.
Yeah.
Of £2 million, your marketing budget of £1,000 isn't going to reach the £2 million target. It doesn't matter how good the marketing agency is; it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And on a micro level, when I started, I started as a design agency in my mum's back room at her house 11 years ago. Having worked in industry and with various companies and stuff, and I thought that word of mouth and getting myself out there would be enough, and it just wasn't. And then you'd do daft things like you'd put an ad in the local newspaper, or you'd put an ad on Facebook for a couple of days. I mean, Facebook ads didn't exist then, so that's a lie. But you just put an ad out there and go, "Oh, I didn't get much from that. I'll try one next year."
Yeah.
Where now I know it's about consistency and persistence. So you place an ad, you monitor the ad, you use a call tracking number, you use a trackable URL, you see what kind of results you're getting from it, how many people are clicking through, how many people are doing what you want them to do, and you keep doing it. So I know that car dealership that wants to sell a 20 grand car should be looking to spend roughly 2 grand on marketing that car. So if they want to sell 100 of them, it's 200 grand marketing budget,
Yeah,
which
definitely.
they would turn around and say, bloody hell, that's impossible, the margin's not there. And it's like, well, yes it is, because if you're the car dealership selling Volvo, some of that is covered by the fact that Volvo advertise their cars everywhere anyway.
Yeah.
So we're not saying you specifically need 200 grand a month. We're saying as part of the overall picture,
This is what you probably need.
Yeah, you've got to up your game. So yeah, that was a long answer.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I think as you said before, it's a lot different to how it was back then when you were saying about local newspapers. And
Yeah, it's changed a lot for me,
Yeah.
and my eyes are massively open to what it takes. Obviously, we've scaled from local to regional to national, and now international, and the numbers get scarier every time. Really scary, but it's all about return on investment, return on ad spend, and I have to grit my teeth and know that what I'm doing, if I'm spending £5,000 a month, £10,000 a month, £20,000 a month, over time it's going to pay me back in spades.
Yeah.
And therefore we can refurb the office, get new staff in, whatever. Yeah,
just being committed.
yeah.
Yeah.
All in.
Yeah. But another one is, so obviously me being one of the newbies here.
Yeah. One of the four.
One of the four, yeah. It's been hectic. But when you're actually doing the interviews and the process, what are you actually looking for in a new person? So what are the main qualities that you
Oh, that's a
looking?
good question. So we've previously recruited on skill and experience, and it's backfired massively. So if you're skilled and experienced, chances are you've also learnt bad habits. And you come into a business like Codebreak, and I know every marketing company, every marketing agency says, oh, we're not like other ones. But genuinely, we're not. There's things here that are very different to how other marketing organisations do things. There's things here that are different to how other companies do things in terms of just how we operate, the expectations. So this is like a high pressure, high fun environment. And someone who's used to maybe slightly less pressure but slightly less fun will struggle here.
Yeah.
Because
It's a different dynamic.
it's a definitely a different dynamic, and you kind of have to have the bit between your teeth. And if that fades, or you're just struggling, or you do something wrong, expect me to call you out on it. But equally, if you do something well, I'll praise you as well. I think high praise and critical analysis are two really important elements to a business. So, long story short, to answer your question, we really went hard on character this time.
Yeah.
So, of the four of you here, B went through 3 interviews, you went through 2, Martha went through 2, Caitlin went through 2, but Caitlin's 2 interviews. In total, the time was probably about a day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because obviously she's come in
It's a
to be
big
the
part.
boss.
Yeah.
And it was all about how do you respond to our questions, not necessarily what do you say. Because in your case, we didn't expect you to know the answers to some of the questions.
Yeah.
We just wanted you to have an enthusiasm to either want to know the answer or to try and think of an answer. So I think we asked you about your favourite campaigns and things like that.
Yeah.
And then second interview, what got you the role genuinely, because they won't mind me saying, we offered you a role before anyone of the new batch.
Okay. Yeah.
Whereas you came to your second interview having built a website since your first interview to show us how much you wanted it.
Yeah.
And we were bowled over by that. That was like, bloody hell, how many 18-year-old lads would go away, apply themselves like that? And I think something you mentioned in your first interview too was your relationship with your dad and how he pushes you on.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, so there's some good influence in his life. You'd done well in football and also felt rejection in football, so you knew what it took to like come back from rejection. And then you did this thing with the website, and we were like, okay, this lad's got something about him. And to be frank, we didn't care that you didn't know much about marketing. It was, well, we can teach him marketing and we can teach him the technical aspects of what we do, but let's get him in and see what he's like. And you're genuinely, you're like a breath of fresh air. You're a positive guy. You keep everyone smiling. You make sure everyone's chatting, and that's important. And then, I'd say Martha's quite similar. Positive girl, chatty,
Very
funny,
loud,
yeah, definitely loud. But she's got drive. She's like really, really wants to go for it. And then B, equally got drive, but hers is in a slightly more subtle sense. She's sort of more thoughtful, and she'll take a step back and assess the situation, and really think about what pieces she needs to piece together. And we need both of those characteristics. We need someone who's going to get shit done, and we need someone who's going to think about things and make sure they dot the I's and cross the T's. And so, we interviewed heavily on character.
Yeah.
Because we can teach skills. We've got the Codebreak Bible, which is our playbook that should have every process in the business in it. And the reality is sometimes a leopard doesn't change its spots. I don't fully believe in that. Some people do change their ways.
Yeah.
But if someone's characteristics are good to start with, it's my fault if you turn into a dickhead. where if you're trying to polish a turd, there's probably a bit too much graft. And
Yeah, I definitely know what I mean. I think especially in some of the questions, it's pretty much a bit more about getting to fully
what
know
are you about?
rather than-
Yeah, what do you want from life? And
exactly, rather than obviously it's mainly about obviously marketing questions was part of it, but there's mainly
Yeah.
about character and stuff.
yeah, definitely character. Definitely what makes this lad tick.
Yeah,
What does he want from life? Is he just looking for a job so he can go out with the lads? All these kind of things that cross your mind.
yeah,
So, yeah, all right. I think I
Yeah.
did all right on that one.
yeah. I mean, pretty thorough.
Yeah.
But speaking back on when you were on about campaigns and stuff like
Yeah.
that, you asked us. Coming back onto you this time.
Okay.
What's the boldest marketing campaign that you have seen but has also been successful?
Okay. It's funny this because I often criticise some of what KFC do, and I'm not sure how much of this was deliberate, what actually went on. But a couple of years ago, KFC ran out of chicken,
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
and I think they did run out of chicken because it would have been insanely bold to start a marketing campaign by being a chicken restaurant with no chicken.
Yeah.
But they printed in all the broadsheets and in all the daily papers, essentially we fucked up, but it was we FCK instead of KFC, ED, up,
Okay. Yeah.
like really big in every paper. And I thought, well,
Bold.
that's bold.
Yeah.
Not necessarily my favourite campaign, but it's definitely bold.
Yeah.
And no, I mean, years ago, French Connection did FC UK, which at the time, believe me, was because it's very edgy.
Yeah.
It's not now, everyone's used to it. But for KFC to do this across the newspapers when they're kind of like a family fried chicken brand, I was like, bloody hell. And by the way, yeah, you did fuck up because running out of chicken is
Crazy,
ridiculous.
especially for a Kentucky Fried Chicken.
It's a little bit, the cynical side of me hopes they didn't run out of chicken and it was all a big...
Yeah, well,
because
I mean,
they got so much coverage, it was like
Yeah.
all over the news, everywhere. And if that was a marketing campaign, if someone at KFC actually thought of that and thought, let's pretend we've run out of chicken, then it maybe would be my favourite ever campaign because that is the ballsiest thing.
oh, yeah, I mean,
I've ever
I
seen.
saw some, and like some KFCs did end up like not opening up, but some ended up obviously were still open up in that space
Yeah.
of time. But so it was kind of
So they must have run out.
Yeah, they must have run out in most places.
It's
but
a shame. It would have
yeah.
been it would have been better if,
Yeah,
if
but I
it was a
mean,
ploy.
thinking of it that way, it actually could be at the same time, like, and because they could run out of KFC, but like as a
Yeah.
chicken, like in certain areas, but
Yeah, so I think that's the boldest one
crazy.
I've seen. And there's another one when I was at university, and this definitely wouldn't be PC now. But you know the clickers doormen have to count how many people have walked in and walked out. So Lynx at the time it was called the Lynx effect, their campaign. So if you sprayed a bit of Lynx on you, which at the time all students wore Lynx because just you did. If a girl looked at you, you clicked your clicker as a count, and they ran this campaign on TV, and they had a sign up on their website when just as people started to do these kind of sign up campaigns, and when you signed up, they sent you a clicker in the post. So you can imagine, 18 years old, you go into a nightclub thinking you're really cool with a clicker in your pocket, turn round, 8 out of 10 of the people in there are lads, stinking of Lynx. Everyone's got their clicker out.
you could just see clicking
Absolute
everywhere.
sausage fest. But that was pretty bold as well. It was quite funny, and I'm embarrassed to say that I had one of those clickers. But
Was you walking in the clubs thinking that you were?
well, there was only lads there to look at me, absolute idiots. But yeah, that was pretty bold. But you couldn't do it. You could do it now, 15 years later.
Oh god,
so
no. Especially something like that.
16 years later. Tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Well, we pretty much celebrated today, didn't
Yeah.
we?
Okay, next one.
What resources have you had that you feel are important or essential for success?
Oh, reading books.
Yeah.
Readers make leaders, for the cliche. So I get through 3 or 4 books a month.
Oh, okay.
Andy probably gets through 6 or 7. Yeah, a huge resource for me. I read a lot on leadership, mindset, obviously marketing. Absolutely addicted to podcasts too, so I'll listen to 2 or 3 podcasts a day. Again, mindset, business,
Yeah.
marketing. And And I think they're the things that really matter to success. That they're accessible to nearly everybody.
Yeah.
I think in terms of something that's been really, really useful to my mindset and my success, and Andy trying to sneak a crisp in the background. Let's get that on the podcast.
He's not making
What's the way to get Andy to fall off the wagon? Buy a bag of crisps. So, the one thing that's been really good for my growth is I journal every day.
Okay.
So at the end of every day, I write down the mood I've been in that day, roughly, the feelings I've had that day. So on the left page, I've got the mood and the feelings I've had that day, and then on the right page, I write down what's happened in the day, and then at the very end, I write 3 wins from that day. So I finish on a positive, 3 wins, but I use that process to get all the thoughts out of my head onto a page, and also put it next to the mood I'm in. So that the following day when I look back, it's like, well, yeah, quite clearly you were grumpy yesterday because look at that.
Yeah.
But remember, you still achieved those 3 wins.
Yeah.
And then if I'm in a good mood, the writing can be completely different, but I always end on the 3 wins. And I've found that I've been doing that 18 months now, and my personal development has massively increased, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's like anything, obviously, with the book that we read before, like the Eat That Frog as well. That's sort of links to the same thing, really, like making sure like mindset as well, and improvement and your personal development and stuff. But yeah, no, it's really important. But yeah, final question.
Okay, last one.
Yeah, last question. Where do you see Codebreak in 5 years?
In 5 years?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is hard. So roughly Codebreak got going 2 years ago. We'd existed for 6 years, but we got going seriously 2 years ago. And 18 months ago, we sat with one of our mentors, and he said, in 18 months from now, you won't be able to recognise what Codebreak is. Bear in mind, there was like me and Andy and a couple of others then. And he's right. He's entirely right. We've done stuff I never thought we'd write a book, let alone become bestsellers.
I know, yeah.
It's insane. I didn't think we'd ever refurb this office, let alone rewire it and fit new lighting. I never thought we'd have a staff of however bloody many of us there is now. So I find it really tricky.
It's kind of harder to determine growth.
Yeah, so
like this.
I know this year we're looking for triple growth.
Okay.
So we'll be 3 times bigger by the end of the year than we were at the start.
Okay.
I know that I want triple growth again next year, which puts the numbers in scary place.
Yeah, is that in terms of like staff and all
no,
also,
so I don't think staff will increase much now.
Okay.
Numbers I'm talking.
Yeah.
In 5 years' time, cards on the table. If we do everything I think we can, there'll be a documentary about Codebreak.
Oh, okay.
We'll have at least 3 more books. I think we will be a multi-million pound marketing company. So over 10 million a year. These are sort of things I hate saying. It's so not British, but
I know, exactly, yeah. I mean, it's just kind of hard to determine. I think obviously when you said before, and like 18 months ago, you would never expect to see how it is now, and you've got to sort of think that way when you think about the future.
Exactly, and you've got to be confident but humble, like one of our values.
Yeah.
And I would hate to sell the listeners short. What's the point of me telling them to have big goals if we don't have big goals?
Exactly.
So, a book I've just read by Robin Sharma, he talks big, hairy, audacious goals. Essentially, 5 years' time, we will be a multi-million pound business. We will have staff here who are some of the best marketers in the world, and I think some of the people here will be those people. Mm-hmm. We'll have multiple best-selling books rather than just one. We'll have a documentary about Codebreak, and people listening now won't believe us. And I am 100% confident that everything I just said then is going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't
no question
want it
about
any other way. Yeah, it's not up for questioning. It's not a boast.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it because I want the money. doing it because I love the game.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to
I
achieve.
think it's obviously just thinking about the business mainly rather than
Yeah,
money-wise. But
yeah,
obviously
and the
that's
people in it.
coming in a factor, but
Yeah,
still,
yeah.
But yeah,
Cool.
it's kind of crazy.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Wow, that's... To be fair, I never saw myself here at the start of it anyway. Like even at school, I never, like you said, from like 18 months ago, never thought about it because at a young age, it was always sport for me, constantly. And then obviously in the last couple of years of school, it was mainly marketing that I wanted to go into. But about 5 years, obviously, finished all the training stuff that I hopefully can do, like Evie's gone on to do. But yeah, hope to see myself obviously improve in the business and improve my skills and hopefully become higher up where I am now, which I'm pretty confident myself being. But it's kind of hard to tell, especially with, obviously I'm so new to marketing and I've only been in it for 3 weeks, so it's kind of hard to see myself. It's kind of like where you was, you can't see anything that you're going to be. But I think in a year's time I could probably answer that question, depending on how fast my growth is.
Well, you got your first week at college next week.
Yeah.
Hopefully Evie's helped you book a train ticket.
Yeah, I asked her about that.
Okay.
Yeah, probably need to chat about that
later. Get that sorted before the end of the day.
Yeah.
But once you've got that out of the way, let's sit down and look at your goals.
Yeah.
And you won't be unsure. You'll know exactly what you're doing and why.
Yeah.
And let's set some scary ones.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Can't wait.
I've really enjoyed that. That's been one of the toughest podcasts I've ever been on. I've been absolutely grilled. I'm sweating. Nice one.
I'm impressed with myself now.